Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we're taking a deeper dive into our thoughts about Olandria so far this season for Love Island USA.
Hey, friend, I know you asked us to do a deep dive on Olandria, and I was like, I don't know. Now I got to do a deep dive on Olandria.
Mm-hmm.
I need to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. She know who I'm talking about. Here's the thing about Olandria, right? I have to give the same speech that I gave about Shelly, about Olandria in the beginning. I don't hate Olandria, right? When Olandria first was introduced to the show, she had my loyalty from the jump because you know what? She dark skinned, she black, I'm with it.
Yes.
Right? And then I seen her actions and I seen her theories and I see how she thinks. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to jump off the Olandria bandwagon. You get what I'm saying? Because I have the right to see how someone acts or see what they say and be like, you know what? I'm not really behind you, but I'm not against you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thoughts about Olandria and this whole Taylor situation, Blair, and I'm going to brainstorm with you since you're the only one in the house.
Yes.
Right? I think a lot of what Olandria is going through is a daddy issue type of thing, right? Oh, Chris, you going deep. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go deep here, right? I'm sure there's a lot of single mothers in our comments who watch our videos. Shout out to y'all. And the thing about parenting, especially when you have children, right? It usually takes two to make a child, and it probably takes two, maybe even a village of 6, 10 people to raise a child, right? Because children are so precious that it takes more eyes and more hands to basically raise that child, or else things is going to slip between the cracks, right? I commend single mothers. I commend single parents that take on the burden of basically a 2-parent household on one's back and basically be like, you know what, I have to do what I have to do no matter the circumstance, and I'm going to raise my child. And one thing that I hear Olandria say all the time is that, hey, my mother was a single mother of 3. You get what I'm saying? And that's something to be proud of, because at the end of the day, guess what? I did what I had to do. I raised my child. And you know what? It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And I love that. But we also have to talk about the reality of what are the ramifications of that happening, right? And Olandria actually talked about it on her date with Jalen, right? Where she was like, I kind of want to let the soft girl out. You know what I mean? Like, she says, like, I kind of want to let the soft girl out. You know, I'm kind of hesitant on it. And basically, I'm paraphrasing, Jalen basically saying, like, hopefully I can be the guy that can basically let you know that you can let it out. But my thing about it is, when you have been raised by one parent, no matter if it's a mother or a father, but let's stick to mothers for right now, right? A mother is strong most of the time because she has to be.
Right.
Right? And at no point should her strength be used against her, right? And I think that's what Olandria feels or felt or even witnessed, right? My mother is strong, and my mother is basically Superman and all of that. But that's why when a lot of people, especially you, Blair, was like, get with Jalen, get with Jalen, get with Jalen. And all I can see is her recoiling with Jalen, because when Jalen is basically straightforward and say, hey, I like you, I want you, you're beautiful, I want to be with you, she don't know how to handle that type of directness because she's protecting that soft girl, you know, that like she has behind, you know, that hard shell. Do you have anything to add to what I'm saying before I go deeper?
No, I want to hear more.
Right? So now when you hear Taylor, and hear me now, I'm only using Taylor words. That doesn't mean that I agree with Taylor, right? But I'm only going to use his words, right? When you see Taylor say things like, like with you, Clark, I don't have to be with my P's and Q's. I think that's a different issue, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I can just be free flowing. I ain't got to basically present myself as one way and basically when I'm really the other way. Or even when he was in front of the whole group and he's like, Clark makes me feel like a child. Like basically like I have this kid feeling. And basically Orlando's like, how old are you? You know what I'm saying? Now people can view that 2 different ways, right? The same way as I view it 2 different ways. With me, I don't like to hear men talking about how they feel like a child. Especially not no Taylor. When I seen Taylor act like a child throughout this whole time, right? But at the same time, I seen some people say, hey, there's nothing wrong with basically feeling that childlike joy, that childlike happiness. And if he's with someone that let him experience that, besides the latter, besides being with Olandria, like maybe that's the issue that he have with Olandria. Maybe Olandria come off as too hard shell for other men and things like that. I never picked that up from Olandria, of her being so hard shell, of her being so standoffish. I just think that when it comes down to knowing with the knowing what she knows in basically in the back of her mind, I believe that she knew what Taylor felt. In the sense of, I know Taylor don't like me.
It all came out.
Yes, I think she knew that, right? And that's where I think the daddy issues coming at, right? It make you hesitant. It doesn't make you sure, right? It make you basically keep going past these red flags that you see. And I think like what she saw in Taylor, she was basically like, oh, I'm going to bypass that red flag. I'm going to bypass that red flag. I'm going to bypass that red flag. And I'm like, no, Taylor. No, Olandria. You need to actually live your Love Island experience for you. Like Taylor tried to use that line, basically saying like, this is for me and not for you. But the whole time, Taylor wasn't honest this whole time. What is your thoughts?
I was just so into what you're saying. I wasn't even thinking. I'm okay.
Because
I'm like, yes. I'm interested in your take.
There's more because I could go deeper because I give you a perfect example. You could basically say I was raised by a single parent, right? My mother passed away when I was 12, going on 13, right? So I was basically raised by my dad. I was a mama's boy through and through. But once she passed away, I was now getting love or getting raised by one parent. So I have certain things that I don't like due to how I was raised by my father. Meaning like my father had a hard interior and exterior.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I don't like being coddled at all. Like, don't coddle me. Don't tell me it's okay. It's going to be okay. Give me the real. And that is the effects of me being raised by one parent. Even though my father was loving me in the way he know how, he was doing everything good, some things fell in the cracks.
You didn't have that softness.
No. And some people can look at it like, oh yeah, you're not supposed to have that softness because you're a man. But that's the danger of basically raising a child or raising children by yourself, is that you can do everything right, but at the same time, little things can slip through the crack. And I think the thing that slipped through the crack with Olandria is, hey, your self-esteem to walk away. Basically, when somebody is complimenting you on your body and wanting you, that's not a something that should be used as a negative as it was used with Jalen.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Stop telling yourself things that the other guy didn't say. He said, Taylor's into my mind. I never heard Taylor say he's into her mind and things like that.
And I think that's the thing that gets me with Olandria, is that she will convince herself of a situation more than allow the other person to relay what they're feeling or even calling them to speak up more. And I think that's the thing with Taylor. And I'll put 100% onus on Taylor that in the beginning, if you were having issues with physical attraction, he should have told Olandria.
Exactly.
If he was having issues of finding that romantic spark and connection with her, he should have told her. So I think that she wasn't working with a full deck of information.
Yeah.
But I do think that there was enough there to show that he's not really all in for you.
Yeah.
And you know that. You sense that. You can feel that. But you decide to tell yourself that you guys are building a mental connection over physical when he never told you that.
No, he never did.
And I don't know necessarily if that comes from, a issue with not having, being raised by a father and, things of that sort, and kind of like how that trickles down into how she might be showing up.
Yeah.
But I do think that it would benefit her as well as a lot of the other ladies on the show to pay attention and listen to what the man is saying to you. And I do think that for some women who have gotten into the position of being single for a long time, being super strong, being super independent, we know that she, wasn't in a relationship for 5 years, that you become so self-reliant and self-sufficient that you kind of, the words of a man or a person that, you might have an interest in, they can kind of fall on deaf ears because you've had to look out for yourself. You've had to be the one to make the decisions for yourself, and you're the one that knows what's best for yourself.
Yeah.
So you might even end up deluding yourself into manipulating a situation in your mind to suit you or your needs when that's not exactly what the other person is saying.
Not at all.
I hope that makes sense the way that I kind of put it out there.
No, I get it. No, I get it 100%. That's why I think she recoiled at Jalen.
Oh, and I do want to talk on
that. Go ahead.
And I do think that when it comes to the Jalen situation, like if you're not used to or I'm not going to say not used to, because I think Olandria is absolutely gorgeous, hands down, beautiful woman. And I think that she probably is used to people being into her beauty.
I hope so.
And
because she is beautiful.
Yes. And I think that she said that she has had people lead with the physical so much with her that it might actually be a turn off to her.
That's fair.
And I think that with Jalen complimenting her on that and saying that he was all in on her, maybe she didn't fully trust it. And she was just like, well, at least I know with Taylor, he's not just into me for my body.
Yeah.
But he also wasn't into you at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that she was missing. But again, like I say, Taylor wasn't giving her the whole truth of where he stood. And when Jalen came in, he wanted to start breadcrumbing her, as y'all would say, and trying to lay it on a little bit thicker. But I wouldn't say he confused her, but I think that she was aware of the signs. And even during that time that Jalen was there, she could tell that Taylor was stepping it up a little bit because Jalen was there. And I think that's important to note, that it's not like she's dumb. She saw all of this happening to the point where we get to the, stand on business, to where she's able to go through a list of things that have been happening and how she's been investing in this man and he didn't invest in her. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, don't put yourself in a position to be a woman scorned. Yeah. He's already made his decision. You've already seen how he's treated you, and you're over here taking pictures and leaving it on his bed and, all that type of stuff. And I will say, I'm a fan of keeping your head in the game. Don't count yourself out. Yeah. But if someone is clearly not showing that same level of interest back, it's time to pivot. And I don't think that she pivoted early enough.
And here's the thing, because I'm about to pivot in a way that's going to surprise y'all too. We all can agree. The women who watch us can agree, who are single mothers can agree. When a man is not in the house, a man is not in the house. A mother can't teach a son how to be a man and things like of that nature. You can't really fake it, right? You just have to deal with the cards that you are dealt with, right? And that's why I'm like, oh, if you're not used to a man being in the house, you kind of don't really see how a man operate. And really and how a man talk, and how a man is basically what Jalen was doing was, I would view it as manly. I'm gonna state how I feel directly. I like you. I want you. You're beautiful. I would like to get to know you. And if you're not used to that, there's a reason to recoil and to not trust it, right? But Olandria is not the only one that got daddy issues. Taylor got daddy issues too. Because I would say, if you are a man, I don't care if you're 23, 25, however old you are, and you can't say what's on your mind, the truth, and things like that, then something messed up in the whole raising of you raising up on that farm, being a cowboy. You know for a fact that you was not into Olandria, but yet you lied by omitting. Yeah. You lied by lying. You get what I'm saying? You kissing her and chasing it with whatever drink you had and things of that nature. You knew for a fact you did not like Olandria, and as a man, you did not go and have a conversation with her. We watch Love Island UK. There's this one guy on there named Connor, right? And he is trying to find a connection, and when he likes somebody, he lets them know, and when there's no spark, he have a conversation with them and say, you know what, there's no spark between us. Hopefully you don't feel no type of way. I still would like to talk as friends, but I just want to be forthcoming and say there's no spark between us. That's what men do.
And I think that's respectable, because you're not wasting your time or the woman's time. And I think that also was the frustrating part when Taylor picked Clark but told Olandria that he wanted to continue exploring them both, and rightfully so. She was frustrated because you're saying you want to explore us both, but you're actually laid up under Clark all day. Yeah. And I think that's where we get to actions sometimes speak louder than words, and people, it's happening and move around.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. And my thing is, when you're not used to being around a man, guess what? It's more comfortable being around a boy. And that's what Olandria fell into the trap of. You know what? Taylor, guess what? Taylor's not really sure. I have to reaffirm him, because I seen my mother reaffirm me. She's strong and things like that. So I'm just gonna take on basically the role of my mother. I'm gonna be strong for us. And I'm like, no. If you was with Jalen, now outside of looks, I do think she probably just wasn't physically attracted to Jalen. But outside of looks, if everything was perfectly set aside for Olandria for her to like Jalen, she still wouldn't have liked him, because she's just not used to basically somebody being straightforward with her and say, I like you, I want you, you're beautiful. Even Nick, I'm not a big fan of Nick and things like that because I think Nick just likes, right? But when Nick was basically saying how beautiful she is, how gorgeous she is, and basically like he always had eyes for her, I'm paraphrasing, you can kind of see her recoil a little bit too. You get what I'm saying? Because when a man wants something, that's the difference. When a man wants something, he's going to do everything in his power to get it. And my thing is, if she had no history of seeing that, then of course when she gets with Taylor, she don't recognize that, oh, he don't want me. Because Jalen makes me feel kind of uncomfortable. He actually makes me feel smothered. You know what I mean? Besides him actually being direct. And now you're crashing out calling him the B word, Olandria, because now you're replaying all the signs that you've seen and you're like, you know what? I reassured you every day. And yet you did not choose me. And I'm just like, yeah, man, you was dealing with a boy. And then guess what? Taylor got daddy issues too, because he definitely wasn't acting like no man, in my opinion.
And I do think that when it came to Olandria, I don't necessarily think that she wanted to be chased down like Shelly, because she actually didn't require that of Taylor.
No.
She didn't make him put in the work. Ace made him put in the work.
Yeah.
But I think that when it even comes to her conversations with the guys, and it could just be an issue of which I believe she had that comfort with Taylor. And so she closed herself off because she didn't want to have to start over, have conversations, actually try to figure out different connections. She was comfortable and she stayed where she felt she was safe.
Yeah.
And I think that was the danger that she put herself in that led her to this position, because clearly there were multiple men that were interested in her and found her attractive.
Yeah.
Yet she didn't pursue that. Even with the Ace thing, she went to kiss Ace with the blindfold situation. It was early enough to where I think that she could have explored something with Ace if she wanted to. Even though, it was clear he was into Shelly, but I think that she's had opportunities to give the men and showing them interest in the fact that she wanted to pursue something or explore something, but I felt like she had a wall up to where she wouldn't allow herself to.
It's to your point. Like, I will go kiss Ace, but he got a blindfold on and he won't really know it's me. You know what I mean? Besides just being like straight up. And here's the thing about Olandria. I think the way that she operated in this experience and basically cooking for the guy, basically planning dates for the guy, stepping out of her shell, I want her to continue to do that, right? But with the right guy. You get what I'm saying? And I need her to know when to press the eject button and basically be like, you know what? I'm very good. I am a baddie. You get what I'm saying? That's why in one episode I was like, does she know she a baddie? And basically she's over here basically begging and pleading for a guy that's joking around saying maybe no one likes you. No one talks to someone
that they like
that.
Even a friend.
Not even. So that's why I think she fell into, I do think she did fell into the whole Friends Island thing. You know what? I'm not going to explore Ace. I'm not going to explore Jeremiah, because we got a sisterhood. We got this little friend. We are girls. Even though I think Olandria is kind of a girl's girl whenever she want to choose to be a girl's girl. That's a whole different story. But I do think that Olandria issue is deeper than just, oh, Taylor did this, Taylor did that. I think it had to do with, daddy issues across the lines of like, oh, when a man was there and he was very interested in you, you recoiled because maybe you're just not used to that type of interaction. When a man wants something, it doesn't mean that, put it like this, when a man wants something, he makes his objective very clear with the person that he's talking to.
And I do want to touch on the whole Huda Olandria situation.
Okay.
I do think that, like I said with Shelly, Olandria is probably drained of Huda.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that when they had their conversation, Olandria says, I know we confide in each other. Honestly, the way that it looks very one-sided. Huda is always running and crying to Olandria.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that Olandria left her food to go somewhere else, because I'm not trying to do this
that was
right
hilarious.
I was like, I don't want to hear this right now.
Olandria said, I left the stove on. Let me turn the stove off. And then we did not see Olandria no more.
Yeah. So I'm totally with her on the fact that don't nobody want to sit up and hear Huda crying all day. But I do think that in the situation with the stand on your business, when she was talking about, well, you kiss Chris, Olandria.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
It's okay if she kisses Chris and explores her connection in that way. do you have a barrier to physical contact? Is that why you think people can't explore physically? Is exploring only with words to you? Like, I think part of that is part of the exploration process.
Yeah.
So I get that she was trying to have Shelly's back in the situation.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was completely unnecessary, and I felt like she didn't have a point.
No,
you know?
there wasn't no point, because if I want to kiss the person that I'm in a couple with, remember, Huda's in a couple with Chris. She's free to do so. My thing is, if you're going to have Shelly back, have Shelly back. I have no problem with you having Shelly back. It's when you try to play the middle, which maybe look at Olandria like, are you a girl's girl, or are you kind of like Olandria? Like, are you for self, or are you for? Because my thing is, I'm not for the girl's girl thing. So I think she should just renounce it. If you for Shelly, I don't want to see you pull Huda aside and basically be like, you know what, I didn't mean to do that. Da 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 da. I'm just like, nah. Like, you should stand on your square and be like, no, like, I'm with Shelly. That's just how I move, right? But I agree with you 100%. She shouldn't have exposed that, especially since she kissed Nick in Soul Ties.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing too. Is that I think that Olandria is a little bit blind to a lot of things when it comes to herself. If we go back to when we paired her up with Jalen, and she was just like, oh, I guess America knows I love a country man, or maybe we know Taylor doesn't really like you.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think Olandria gives terrible advice. like because remember when America, y'all, broke up Jeremiah and Huda, and she was like, she told Huda, America sees something that you don't see, Huda, with Jeremiah, but yet she couldn't open her eyes to say, oh yeah, y'all broke up me and Taylor too.
Yeah.
Like it just like went right past her face. So I think she gives terrible advice. But you know what? People can give terrible advice, and I think that's why some people probably is off the Olandria train. I think, truth be told, I think Olandria overstayed her welcome, to be honest.
I think at this point, when there's really no one else to really focus a connection on, I don't believe her and Zach are going to have something.
No.
I think that the opportunity was in Casa, and she was closed off.
Yeah.
Like, she had a wall up. I don't think that she was open to exploring that. And even when they had their conversation on the dock, it felt like Friendship Island.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I think that at this point, I think she's had a good run.
Yeah, she had a good run.
She had a really good run.
She had 9 lives. She's been eliminated, saved. And my thing is, hopefully she used this experience. Hopefully maybe she'll be going after movie night and she actually get to see what Taylor was saying behind her back. And I'm not saying double back to Jalen. I'm not saying that, because if you don't like Jalen, we ain't gonna force you to like Jalen.
Yeah.
Right? Even though he got 1 million followers on TikTok in less than 2 days. You get what I'm saying? You don't got to do what we want you to do, right? I just hope that this will not discourage you from still stepping out of your shell, because I do feel like Olandria was cooking for that boy, doing all these things for this boy. That won't step you out your shell and reinforce, basically, you know, hey, my mother been strong, so I'm gonna be strong. Basically, that thing that she wants. She said that she wants it, so I hope that she continue to go after it. She says she wants to let the soft girl out, and I hope this doesn't reinforce keeping the soft girl in.
And that's the thing, like, you have to let it out with the right person. Because I absolutely agree. I think that if we're looking at a spectrum, Olandria and Omaya on opposite ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
I think that I appreciate the fact that Olandria will listen, pause, take information into account, but I don't know exactly what she does with that information.
Yeah.
And I think that's the next step, you know, to her growth. So
anything else?
That's it.
Let us know what y'all think about Olandria. Hey, I think it goes deeper than just Taylor. I think it goes to her mother having to raise her by herself. Kudos to her mother, because Olandria looked like, she looked like, hey, guess what? The mother did what she was supposed to do. Shout out to y'all single mothers. Shout out to y'all single fathers and things like that. But we got to be real. The benefit of basically being a single parent is, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm strong. I'm going to do what I have to do. But guess what? Some things fall through the cracks, and that's not our fault. That's not y'all fault. Anything else?
That's it.
Y'all be good.
Bye.